Improvement Warrior Podcast. Let's do it.
Show me what you can do.
Hey, what's up, Improvement Warrior? Jason Yan back with you again. Welcome to Improvement Warrior Podcast, episode number 29. This is the official first interview of Improvement Warrior Podcast. So I interviewed Justin Frandson of EMF Rocks. So give it a good listen. It's a good talk in regards to EMF mitigation, and some things that I did not know in regards to EMF and 5G and whatnot. But excellent. And if you do want to check out the EMF Rocks, so I have them right beside me. I've been using them since the podcast, so I did this interview probably back in late November and finally getting it up in late March. So apologize for that, but editing and producing and all that stuff and other things going on. So the Total Circadian Health Reset is about to launch sometime in the second quarter of 2023. And if it has not launched and you're listening to this, you can get on the pre-launch list, improvementwarriorfitness.com/pre-launch. But otherwise, always looking for the ratings and other things, ratings and reviews. Okay, remember the podcast is free for you, but it is not free for me. So let's help get the word out for the podcast and whatnot. And if you really want to support it, support the sponsors of the podcast. So Justin's websites for the EMF Rocks is improvementwarriorfitness.com/EMF Rocks. And also he has improvementwarriorfitness.com/athleticism for some other things other than the rocks. So he'll talk about that, Faraday cages that I use frequently, MCT oil, essential oils, a bunch of other stuff on the improvementwarriorfitness.com/athleticism. But otherwise, hope you enjoy this one. So obviously, if you can see, I'm in a different area recording this, but in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Spring break at 40,000 IU today, vitamin D, and got a little burnt. So what happens when you go from Ohio to Florida. Sucky sun to strong sun. But otherwise, I'll check you later. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the podcast. Share it with your friends. Have a great day. Stay strong. Stay positive. Be the improvement warrior. Hey, what's up, Improvement Warriors? Jason Yan back with you again. Welcome to the next episode of the Improvement Warrior Podcast. I have a guest, and you are my first actual interview on this podcast. It's usually solo casts, but my guest today is Justin Frandson, and he's an athleticism performance coach. He's the founder of athleticism.com, EMFrocks.com, and he's the author of Athleticism Whole Body plus Whole Brain equals Performance. He saw his athletes breaking down from excess man-made EMFs and looked to nature to solve this challenge. His EMFrocks.com grounding bags are sold at doctor clinics across the country to help people sleep and repel EMF. So, welcome to the podcast, Justin.
Jason, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. So, as a fellow strength and conditioning athlete, I always like to find out why you got involved in athletics and basically strength and conditioning for athletes.
Yeah, you got it. I grew up in LA and was a big time tennis player early on, playing several hours a day. I wanted to play at USC where I went to school, and I got hurt before I got there. So I had this burning desire to figure out how to allow people to achieve their dreams. And I fell short of mine playing collegiate tennis in D1 school, and just because of an injury. And I had some minor health challenges along the way that brought me into this whole space. So that's where I came about it.
Okay, cool. And then what type of athlete do you work with, age group and whatnot?
Yeah, so athleticism.com, I started at Scripps Clinic in La Jolla, and about 25 years ago, my mentor was named Dean Brittenham. He was strength and conditioning coach in the NBA and NFL. Worked with Major League Baseball teams as well. His son was a strength coach for the New York Knicks for almost 25 years. And Scripps Orthos brought in him so he could do performance with the PT and the ortho. So my first summer on the job, we were working with all sports. We had Chargers, we had Padres, we had teams, we had New York Knicks. They didn't have the summer league really officially going back then. Mm-hmm. And so his son brought their whole team to train with us. So we had that going. So it's a non-sport specific human development program and whole body, whole brain. I do nerve work for sports performance. So I fire nerves to fire the muscles. And then I also treat concussions, and we do whole body, whole brain, ambidexterity stuff. We're one of the only sports performance programs in the country that actually has a true ambidexterity program.
Oh, okay. Very cool. And then from that, it's a big jump to EMFs. So I know for me, it was a big jump because I led with everything and told everybody it's all about your fitness and it's all about your diet. And you just take care of those two things, you're healthy. But ever since getting into EMFs and a whole bunch of other stuff, I'm learning that is not the case. So how did you get involved, or how did you find out about EMFs? Or first of all, I talk about EMFs all the time on this show, so I'd like to hear your definition of EMFs. So.
Yeah, Jason, no, it is a big jump. You're right. But the thing is when you're working with the body at a deeper level, you got to listen to these things that are kind of talking to you. And I saw it early on. I did an internship at a college. It was like a corporate training program, and got stuck at a copy machine, copying papers often a lot. And I'd pull them off the X-ray machine, which is radiation, and my fingers would start burning. I'd be doing that for weeks on end. And that cumulative effect, now I have challenge with touchscreens. When I touch a screen, I have nerve pain, literally, because I damaged those nerves 30 years ago. So I knew I had that. I knew I was the last guy to get a cell phone. I just knew intuitively that this stuff was different. I knew not to sit right in front of a TV screen. I knew not to have a bed on the other side of a refrigerator. There were just some things I just knew that I had researched and heard about, or my mom taught me, or I've experienced myself that I learned from, that when I started seeing this rollout of excess EMF, electromagnetic fields or frequencies that are non-native, like more man-made, I knew I didn't want them right away. And so there was something to that as well. So I started seeing these athletes driving in wearing wireless stuff and wearing smartwatches. Probably one of the biggest aha moments, Jason, was this guy comes in, one of the strongest, fittest endurance athletes we'd seen come through the program. His whole arm went weak from wearing a smartwatch.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going, okay. And he's just proudly wearing a smartwatch. Dude, Justin, my arm's just weak. It doesn't work. I'm like, what does it mean? Does it full range of motion? And he's like, yeah, but it's weak. I'm like, well, get the radiation off your wrist. Let's start there. He takes it off and he gets better without me doing anything, because there wasn't really anything wrong other than he had some nerve challenges with radiation directly on him. So one of the easiest things to get someone better is to clear their stressors out of their world. So that was kind of how I looked at it. And that's when I was like, man, I got to dive way deeper into this whole EMF space and this world, because we're getting inundated on it at levels that we've never seen. Proximity protocols, there are none, and the signal strengths keep going up. So what is this stuff? How is it different from where we are made and how we're made? And so that's where it brought me into it.
Okay. Awesome. So would you consider yourself basically electro-hyper sensitive?
I I guess there's about 20% of the population that is EMF sensitive, and I would fall under that category. Yes, for sure. I think in a couple ways, I feel definitely with the fingertip stuff, but I don't do well with these cell phones near me. I don't sleep well with stuff on at night. So I do lots of applied kinesiology, muscle testing in my clinic, working with guys. So I'm really in tune with energy and frequencies and vibrations. And so that stuff that's so different from how we're made, I can feel. And it's more of a gift than a sensitive, than, an ailment per se. So the guys for those of you that are EMF sensitive, it's a gift, believe me, and we'll dive deeper into that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So you created something called EMF Rocks, which is basically it's a grounding bag with just rocks. Can you explain a little bit deeper about what it is, what it does, how it protects?
It is just a grounding bag with rocks, literally. And for the guys that are a little older, they call it the pet rock generation. My friend calls me the king of the pet rock, which was just like this pet rock. It didn't have intelligence. These do. So it's a little different. And breaking it down, we look to nature to help create a coherence between us and non-native EMFs, and because no one does it better than Mother Nature. That's why it feels so good to go outside and go barefoot and get grounded, go earthing, grounding, if you will. So we hand mine crystals. They have moisture and magnetic properties to convert those one-directional waveforms of man-made electromagnetic fields into waveforms that are unpolarized that our body accepts.
You showed like a little package. Do you just take that package with you wherever you go, or how does it work exactly?
Yeah. So this is a grounding bag. It's the leading natural EMF protection product on the market, sold through doctor clinics all around the country. It's about 1 pound of hand mined crystals with those moisture and magnetic properties to help harmonize all the other stuff. And yes, you put this on your bed, you'll sleep 3 to 50% deeper sleep. You put 5 together in your home, on the floor of your home, you'll clear 2,000 square foot area. If someone has solar in their home, they're going to need 7, because unfortunately solar can cause lots of dirty electricity. So you just need more resonance together to convert that wave. And then if someone's driving an electric car, hey, correct me if I'm wrong, Jace, but have you ever read that sitting on a massive battery is good for you in any health book? No. Neither have I. Pharmaceutical industry can't even make that up. Like, it's that bad for you. So we don't want to sit on a massive battery. So electric cars, they need about 7 of these together to convert that resonance as well.
Yeah. You can't pay me to even ride in a Tesla or one of these electric cars that they're coming out with.
Exactly.
I know that the levels of EMF that the safety standards is completely bogus, but do you have an opinion on certain EMF levels and what to avoid, how to avoid it? Yeah,
definitely. So in 1996, Jason, our government set procedural levels of something that is ionizing. That would mean it would cause a thermal effect and oscillate the cells, raise a temperature subdermally. And when that happens, just like it happens in a microwave, that means, hey, this stuff's dangerous for you and it's not acceptable. If it's non-ionizing and there's no thermal effect, they're saying it's still okay. But that was, 30 years ago almost. And the technology's changed, everything's changed. Dr. Martin Paul out of Washington State University came in, did some studies on the voltage gated calcium channels. They let positive calcium into a negative cell and in turn caused tremendous cell and DNA damage from low level radiation. So even if it's just electricity in your home, you're still getting a vibration with a secondary effect of cell and DNA damage that affect your voltage gated calcium channel. That's energy, that's voltage, that's the frequency, that's how you get your energy into those channels. And if that's messed with, your whole body is going to be messed with. So we know that the procedural levels that were set, they're really not current, and no one cares about your health. Now, the telecom doesn't. I mean, they just want more and more and more. They just want to be connected. Mm-hmm. So we got to really understand, this relationship and develop proximity protocols, identify what the stressors are, where they are in your home, develop proximity protocols, and then do your own grounding protocols outside in nature and then inside with the grounding bags.
Okay. And then with the grounding bags, you can just put it just on the floor. It doesn't have to be connected to outside or connected to a plug like some grounding mats or something like that.
No, that's a great question. So what I did is we looked to nature to solve this. Nature has a resonance in it. It's called the Schumann resonance. It's a healing pulse of Earth measured at 7.83 hertz or waves per second, approximately, depending on the season where you get it. So this is ground. When it's in solid form, like these rocks are inside here, that's ground. Yes, it's beneficial to take it outside every couple months and just put it on the ground for a minute, and it'll recharge it instantly. But as long as they're in solid form, rock form, they're going to help protect you against EMF. What I want to lean people away from are the genetically modified, what I call the GMO products out there that are a man-made device attempting to keep up with man-made signals and out-muscle it. That's a futile effort. So when you're trying to ground something and having to plug it into the wall and ground it through all your electricity and then in the ground, or you're making a device that kicks off a resonance, or it's a sticker on the back of your phone or a little pendant, there's no way that it's going to do what Mother Nature does as effectively as she does it. And they get overrun, so they don't really work at all. And if they do work, they don't work for very long, because we're dealing with 50 times 5G right now, 50 times 5G. So that's a hell of a lot of bandwidth on our bodies.
Okay. Interesting. Now, you did say that you got these bags into doctors' offices. I don't know too many doctors that are talking about EMFs. I basically have a yearly physical every year. So that's the only time I really see my doctor. But he was my father-in-law's, or he is my father-in-law's doctor. So he's a little older. So he's like in his 70s. So he's got that classical doctor training and doctor stance. He always tries to put me on a statin drug every single time I go. But so how do you present the case for EMF to doctors, or if they're closed off, do you just say move on, and how do you approach the doctors to get them educated on this?
Yeah, I mean, your situation is like so many others out there where they go into the Western medicine, practice, and these doctors have respectively been indoctrinated into one system, and that system was fed to them through the pharmaceutical industries that paid for all the textbooks and the literature in there they're designed to sell drugs as health. Well, a drug isn't health. Let's be really clear about that. For any family members or anyone who knows doctors, this right here, this segment will be the most important thing that they can really learn from. And if you don't take it from me, talk to Dr. Tom Cowan, MD, Jess Petros, MD, Kelly Brogan, MD, Andrew Kaufman, MD. I mean, the list goes on and on as far as doctors. Judy Mikovics, MD. I mean, these are doctors that are not just Zach Bush, MD. They're not. These are MDs that are more holistic and have looked out of the box. And several of them have already lost their license. I think 3 of the ones that I just mentioned lost their license. Dr. Jess she's turning her MD license over today because she doesn't believe in their system anymore, because their system is built on treating the symptoms, not the causes. And that's an antiquated system. And let's go back and give these doctors and all your listeners a physics and biology class right here. This is the part where once you get this, everything else makes sense. We are one with the universe, Jason. Okay, we rev on scalar waves. Scalar waves are waveforms that distribute equally in every direction. That's the fundamental basics for every resonance of every living organism and being on this planet. It's called this living collective tissue matrix or intelligence matrix, where everything has a resonance. So we're one with the universe, and we do really well with unpolarized waves that distribute equally in every direction. So what would be an example of that? Well, the sun. Is the sun a one-directional laser beam coming right at you? No, or it would zap you to death. And no, because if you're in it and then you're not in it, well, you wouldn't see me, and then you see me. Well, it just doesn't work like that. Whereas the Schumann resonance, that healing pulse of the earth, okay, hey, I'm in the spot right now. I can pull the electrons from it and recharge my body. But if I'm right here, I'm out of it. That's not how it works. There's a whole resonance throughout the entire, earth and atmosphere and ionosphere that we get, and we get a positive charge from the unpolarized waveforms from the sun. We get a negative ionic charge from the resonance of the earth. We breathe in the minerals through different through different environments. So that's why you want to get your microbiomes up, and hopefully we get some through the food. And then our body acts like a body battery. We get minerals in, positive, negative. That's how we get this piezoelectric effect through thermodynamics in our body. These are known scientific effects and proven how the energy fields in our body work and how we're one with the universe and how the universe is built on scalar waves. Now, this air that we're talking in and living in, that's our environment. It's really ether and plasma. Well, guess what travels through ether and plasma? Waveforms, particles, okay? That's what our environment is, just like dolphins would be the ocean, okay? So that's how these waveforms, and the person in the next room over can hear what I'm saying. There's not a one directional going right into my big mic here. It's going every direction. That's how the universe works with how we're designed. Okay, everyone grasp that? Does that make sense? Okay.
It does.
Now, let's go into man-made stuff, okay? They are all one-directional waveforms, Jason, or they don't work, okay? So alternating current with a direct current returning, they have to meet. They might be in waveform, but they're one-directional, and they have to meet, or you get dirty electricity. Cell phone panels, cell towers. Why do you see tower panels facing every direction? Because they're one-directional waveforms, or they don't work. Okay, that's how man-made electricity works. It's a positive, polarizing, one-directional charge that's 10 zeros faster than how we sleep, rev, and optimize. So look, you work with athletes as well. Okay, you are optimizing performance, working on the body and health. When you're in the flow state, when you just can't miss in your sport and you're optimizing, our brainwave states it's known to be an alpha state, right? It's 8 to 12 hertz or waves per second. When you're sleeping and recovering, you're 1 or below 1 to 8 hertz or waves per second in a delta or theta brainwave state, really slow brainwave state. Again, the Schumann resonance of the earth, the healing pulse of the earth, Jason, is 7.83 hertz. We sleep at 8, we perform at 8 to 12. That's where we're in the zone. We rev one with the universe. When we're optimizing with this universe and we're recovering with it, we're close to it, that's when we're in our flow state. That's when we're in the best health and we're optimal health. This stuff, 2.45 billion waves per second with a B, 2.45 billion. That is the same speed of a wavelength that destructures water. 5G, 60 to 90 billion waves per second. So 60 gigahertz, we're going to call it waves per second because no one knows what a gigahertz is. 60 billion waves per second is where it destructures oxygen molecules. So let's start to add this up. If we add 10 zeros to anyone's bank account with a 1 in front of it, is that a big deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, most people would say so. Our bodies feel the same on the speed of a wavelength. That's a one-directional polarizing charge. That right there is exactly how everything works.
Yeah. 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 And the 6G is, they already had the 6G conference. And here they're trying to put 5G in the oceans now. So it's
disturbing. Yeah. There's no electricity. We've been lied to by telecom in every industry for that matter. But when you look at pharma, drug is health, a mask is health, that's a big lie. You look at ag industry, we need to modify food and throw glyphosate all over it to feed everyone and to kill bugs. That's a big lie. You look at telecom, we need to get 5G to the whole world. Well, that's a big lie. There's no electricity in the ocean, in the deserts, in the forests, in the mountains. We don't need, there's none in a remote third world area, poverty ridden area. They don't need 5G. Okay. They don't even have electricity. We don't need this stuff. They're doing it for different measures, for money, for control, track, trace, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the sad thing. So the world's been, and I mean, good thing is a lot of people are waking up based on what's happened over the last 2 years. So we're able to see more of their plan for us. But yeah, it's disturbing. But you mentioned that you mentioned the phone. So do you obviously you wouldn't recommend people buy your EMF rocks and then go talk on their cell phone on their head for 30 minutes to an hour. So do you have any like specific EMF mitigation techniques that you would recommend for people?
Well, yeah, Jason, I think the first thing is really understand, like if you put an acoustometer, like a one directional radio frequency meter at this thing, the meter would start screaming. And there's no meter to meter even the strength of this phone. So we don't even know what levels these are emitting. So to actually have someone want to put it up to their head like that for any length of time, we got to reshift that out of their system. So we got to understand the different products and areas that are stressors and develop some protocols, proximity protocols. There's SARS rating. They don't even measure these things right up on people's head. There's absorption ratings that they test them far away from the body. So start talking on speaker. But to your point, yes, if you did have a mini grounding bag on you in your pocket, purse, or backpack while you're using a device, it'll help convert that waveform and create a coherence. You'll muscle test strong holding the device. Obviously, if it's right here for very long, it's going to be a little trickier to clear, but it'll help. These, if you're in your bed, it'll clear your bed, desk, or car seat. So that's a great option to sleep with. But have proximity protocols with this stuff. So no wireless earbuds. That's localized radiation in your ear. There's an airway canal directly to your brain. You're basically beaconing radiation at levels that destructure water directly to your inner ear in your brain. That's going to be acoustic nerve challenges and cancer developed over a period of time. So yeah, stop using that. Stop driving electric cars. Put your Wi-Fi on a timer at night so it turns off. Better yet, hardwire your home. It's faster, safer, it's more reliable. There's minimal health challenges. Convert those smart meters to analog. Smart meters, an automated gas and electric meter. The gas companies, they automated it. It pings in your house and then back out to their substation every 7 to 15 seconds. That sporadic pulse is super disruptive for our body. Because of privacy, not health challenges, you're allowed to opt out of those. And so do that. Check out the movie Take Back Your Power by Josh Del Sol, documentary movie on smart meters. Awesome movie. He foresaw all this stuff coming and just tells the whole story behind it. But those are some simple things to think about and look at.
Have you heard of, I think it's called the Blue Shield?
Yeah.
Have you heard of that? Okay. How are your rocks different from that? Because I was looking into Blue Shield, but I didn't really, it just didn't jive with me, so to speak.
Yes. So again, we're looking at GMO versus organic. Like literally ours are hand mined crystals that create a natural resonance to create a coherence and harmonize these frequencies that we're being inundated with. Those are devices that manufacture a signal to overpower. That's more of not our intent. We look to nature to do it. As Tom Cowan, MD, would say, intuitively, no one would do it better than Mother Nature. So that's why we're the leading selling EMF product, natural selling product on the market, and then definitely off of his website. And that's why Dr. Bear Lando, Alpha Vedic, ALFAVEDIC.com. Check him out. You guys will love him. He did a waveform test. So he has dual impedance antennas. He measures any distortion in someone's energy field, because Bruce Lipton will say your health lies in your chi, the chemistry in your body secondary. So any distortion in your energy field in a certain area, it'll tell him exactly what's wrong with you. Our grounding bags clinically passively treat up to 91% of the markers that were off when he loaded people up with EMF. Like, he never seen any results that substantial. So yeah, they work super well.
Okay. So where can people get the grounding bags?
Well, EMFrocks.com, athleticism.com. Those are our two sites. Athleticism, I have more curated products, health and performance products.
Okay.
And hey, I wanted to mention this book. I don't know. Have you seen this book yet, Jason?
Yep, I recommend it a lot. I think it's required reading for everybody, basically.
Awesome.
I'm trying to get I want to get the hard copy so I can highlight things and read them off. So, but
yeah, so this book I got about 4 years ago or so. It really resonates with me. It's a history of electricity and life. It's called The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg. And on page 81, there's a graph, and it shows when electricity hit everyone's home in 1889, the flu that we know of was here to stay. But before that, they called it the flu because it would fly in and then it'd fly out, but it flew in with solar flares. So when there was a cosmic shift in our electromagnetic blanket of an atmosphere, our bodies would adapt. But not until we put it in our homes, put shoes on, electricity in our homes, cancer, suicide, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, cardiovascular disease, all increased. And obviously diabetes took the cake because they're eating fake modified food. And so they've been the big, winning number on deaths in that realm. But this book is crazy because in 1918, they categorize all the major times where there are a lot of deaths in the history, or they call them so-called pandemics, but they're directly correlated to shifts in our electromagnetic blanket of an atmosphere. So in 1918, they rolled out radio waves, and then World War II was radar. Hong Kong flew with satellites. The last 2 years, 5G. So you guys, there's no scratching your head that these electromagnetic fields that are non-native one-directional waveforms are chipping away at our life force. Our bodies will produce a virus, which is a dead protein. It doesn't eat, it doesn't reproduce, it doesn't derive energy in any way, shape, or form. It's self-limiting by nature because it's not designed to kill the host. It's our system upgrade. Just like fungus and bacteria, it's our adaptive system. Zach Bush will say we're built on the tune of 10 to the 31 viruses in us and around us at all times. Like, it's an infinite number. Like, that's how infinite we can adapt. So there's nothing flying around into people's mouths to kill anyone. This is a frequency of an environmental contagion like 5G, like glyphosate, that your body will just adapt to when it needs to at the level it's capable of. So do what Jason's saying and start taking care of your fitness and your nutrition, and now keep getting grounded by nature, and everything's going to take care of itself. You're going to be okay.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that book, I've gone through it twice. I mean, it's mind blowing. I know that they said that before electricity, there was no record of diabetes, cancer, heart attacks. But then after that electricity started showing up, we started living longer, but we started having these chronic diseases. And the more electrified we've gotten, the more advanced the technology has gotten, the stronger and more chronic the diseases have gotten. So awesome book. Highly recommend that. But otherwise, I mean, I've covered all the questions that I've had for you. So do you have anything else you'd like to add, EMF wise, or any suggestions that you would like to make?
Yeah, definitely. I think that one of the big topics now is fertility or lack of fertility. So you guys keep the laptops off your lap. Guys' sperm counts plummets. Women's eggs, ovaries absorb 10 times the amount of radiation than any other part of the body. They have them one time for the rest of their life. They don't keep replenishing them. So you guys got to watch out for all of that. Put a Faraday bag in between your laptop. If you're going to put it on you, put it in between your laptop, and your body. Definitely have a grounding bag nearby. Really know that this stuff, stop sitting on batteries, just get away from this electric car fad. And they're mining coal, cadmium, precious minerals. They're using gas and to mine these things. And it's not a net zero in any way, shape, or form. And then it's super bad for your health. It's 18% lower testosterone for guys driving electric cars.
Really?
18%. So you take a COVID shot, which is 20% lower testosterone, and someone driving an electric car, you take them from 1,000 testosterone down to, 600. That puts them in a really compromised energy field.
Plus and going in their pocket.
Yeah. And then you start doing all the other stuff. They're just become a gateway for dis-ease to occur. So let's start to develop some awareness of how our universe works, how we work, how we're one with it. There's a difference in the electrical stuff. And it's not about just hiding and avoiding and living in a tent. It's about creating a coherence and getting your protocols in place so you're not too close to it, but then you're also getting grounded by nature outside by going barefoot, touching a tree, getting into a body of water, doing the cold water therapy. Like I surf all the time, so I'm in the ocean almost every day. So get your body into bodies of water as well. When you start doing these practices, you're going to start sleeping better. You're going to be more grounded. You're going to be connected above and protected. And then you don't have to worry about anything. Like, that's the net of everything we said today. But
Yeah.
that's where we at. And just look to get grounded by nature, because it's your nature, and utilize grounding bags because they're going to kick off a resonance. And grab these, use it as is. You can tap on them to 10x your energy, increase your energy when you get them. Highly recommend that. Go through the tapping protocol in the brochure. You guys will sleep better than ever. That's where all the restoration takes place. And then you can keep charging and keep your life force up.
Yeah, I heard somebody said, I couldn't believe it, but they said that the Pacific Ocean is year-round is somewhere between 50 and 55 degrees. Is that true? Or do you know?
Yeah, it's not that cold. It was 63 yesterday when I went in.
Okay.
And I think it dropped to 60-ish right now. So, and I do free diving every week with a group, and no wetsuit. So we go in and we're doing the cold plunge for a longer period of time and not as cold of water. When it gets cold here, it'll get in the upper 50s.
Okay.
So, yeah, not that cold. So it's mostly in the low 60s. And then maybe a couple cold months out of the year, it'll be upper 50s.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Well, that's all the questions that I had for you. I appreciate you coming on, Justin. I think my listeners are really going to like this. And don't know, I've got 2 other podcasts in the queue. So I will send this out to you and let you know when it officially launches. But otherwise, I appreciate you coming on. Do you have any parting words?
Thank you so much, Jason, for having me on. Appreciate you
Yes.
and allowing me to share this information with everyone. It sounds like we're already on the same page on everything. So I love connecting with guys like you that have that heightened awareness, have that intent, that pure intent of helping people and optimizing them. So thank you for what you're doing. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are welcome. All right. Well, this is Jason Yun and Justin Frandson, correct?
Yeah.
Signing off, Improvement Warrior podcast. Thank you for listening. Share this out to anybody who needs to hear the message and who is skeptical about EMFs and the whatnot. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching or listening. Have a great day. Stay strong, stay positive, be the Improvement Warrior.
And now a quick message from one of our sponsors.
I have gotten off so many supplements since finding Dr. Cruz in his work in 2018. It's ridiculous. But one that I still take and recommend is magnesium. The big thing with magnesium is that different types of magnesium are uptaken by different parts of the body and organs. So there is a variant with people's responses depending on what they need magnesium for and how deficient they are to begin with. Magnesium deficiency is just as big, if not bigger, than vitamin D deficiency. And a big reason why is magnesium is needed for the conversion step in vitamin D. So what they did at BioOptimizers and Magnesium Breakthrough is they combined the top 7 forms of magnesium in one capsule. Magnesium is a downregulator for the nervous system to relax and leave us from that flight or fight world of stress that is especially caused by blue light and electro pollution that we are all affected by, no matter how much we biohack. It is also critical for vasodilation, increased blood flow. Any pain or problems in certain tissues, it's because not enough oxygen is getting there. Remember, all disease and ultimately death is a state of hypoxia, or lack of oxygen. The goal of electron chain transport is to move the electrons through cytochromes and reduce to oxygen. It's also super important for sleep and, again, for vitamin D production. Overall, there are over 300 reactions that magnesium is directly and indirectly responsible for. I used to usually just take one form of magnesium for a month and then switch to another form, but taking this is so much better. You can check it out at improvementwarriorfitness.com. magnesium for a 10% discount off your order. There's also a 100% money-back guarantee. If it is not the best magnesium supplement you have ever taken, return it for a full refund. But I know you're going to love it. If you are looking for a quick and easy guide on how to get started with improving your health to optimal, then check out my free guidebook, Improvement Warrior Mitochondriac. A 17-step guidebook going over everything from the sun to melatonin to water to cold exposure to electropollution and much, much more. It can get quite confusing listening to multiple health coaches, blogs, podcasts, videos, etc., especially with where to start and where to go next. Check out the guidebook at improvementwarriorfitness.com/mitochondriac. Just mitochondria with a C at the end. We are always looking for ratings for the podcast. It helps my podcast be found by others looking to improve their life and health, as well as it helps us get ranked higher. So please help us out so that I may continue bringing this life-changing podcast to you and others around the world. Just go to the leave a review section of your favorite podcast listening app and let us know what you think. 5 stars is preferred, but please be honest. Thank you in advance.